Namaste, everyone. Uh, Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invite and being with us here today.
Yeah,
Thank you so much thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today on this live with the most dynamic personality that I could have ever known, with Mr. Lakshmi Narayana. To give a few very understanding of who he is, I think he doesn't even need an introduction by himself. But Mr. Lakshmi Narayana is a former Additional Director General of Police in Mumbai, Maharashtra. He is known for leading high-profile corruption cases during his tenure as the Joint Director, CBI Hyderabad. He had previously held the post of Joint Commissioner of Police of Thane, Maharashtra. He is from the 1990 batch of civil services. Shri Lakshmi Narayana has received the Indian Police Medal in 2006. He has also been awarded the Mahatma Gandhi Peace Prize by the Minority Commission of Maharashtra. He has been conferred with the President's Police Medal for Distinguished Services on 26th January 2017. Not only that, it gives me an immense pleasure to share with you that he has also adopted 3 villages which have given up liquor and brought substantial improvement. He has donated about 58 times blood and has interacted with more than 25 lakh youth, which itself is a big thing for all of us. On a very personal note, I would share that his daily WhatsApp profile picture would be an inspiration for all the young people who could follow him. He keeps on changing, and one of them which reminds me is that dots are rather continuity but not a stop. And I think with this message today, we have got his time to speak on this entire discussion evolving around us on AtmaNirbhar Bharat, India reinvigorating globally. Today, along with Vivekananda Global Foundation and Youth of India Foundation has come together in understanding how with this entire pandemic and post-pandemic, India has evolved globally. To just give a few and an introductory understanding of what we mean by this entire discussion and dialogue today, wherein again, sir would enlighten us with much ahead. The entire dialogue and the discussion today is based on the foundations of how young people tomorrow would be seen, not just as a local at the national and the international platform, but at the same time, how would young people participate in taking this movement ahead? To verily say, coming from the last 5 years, India has taken a very strong stances at the international forums, including International Solar Alliance, or maybe it could be to very recently getting the non-permanent seat at the Security Council. And not only that, with this pandemic, India has not only helped in sustaining its own resources, but at the same time also going out of its way, helping countries across the globe, including providing medications to the US, or maybe going to the Fiji Islands and providing support there. So as a whole, India has evolved globally. And to understand more of it, we would request sir to enlighten us with his understanding and our remarks. Thank you, sir.
yeah. Thank you very much. A warm Jai Hind to all the participants. Thank you very much, Sailesh, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Because I started my journey by participating in various activities of Lead India Foundation. This foundation was started in Hyderabad with the blessings of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So he always used to tell us, start your day by meeting the future of this nation. So today is one such occasion wherein with the Vivekananda Foundation and Youth of India Foundation, through this webinar, I am able to meet so many people, the youngsters who want to make this nation Atmanirbhar. So aptly, we have chosen this topic of AtmaNirbhar Bharat, especially India reinvigorating globally. Yeah, I'll start. What is the modality? Like I speak and then there will be question answers, or how
Yes,
we?
Sir.
Yeah.
So we could do that way.
Yeah. What is the time frame I can speak? Yeah.
So could we have 15-20 minutes or whatever you suggest?
Yeah, maybe a bit more because I need to get into the role of the youth. Maybe I take 20-25 minutes.
Sure, sir. No problem.
Yeah. So Atmanirbhar Bharat, as you all know, or Atmanirbharta we call it as, is going to give new energy and strength to India. That's what I always feel and I believe also. No doubt the word AtmaNirbhar, that means self-reliance, made a very exciting first appearance or debut, what you call, and it has crisscrossed the India in a short time. I mean, in the recent past, because you're all youngsters, few years back, there was a song by name is Why This Kolavari Kolavari D. It's actually some Tamil song, but it has spread across the country. I mean, because every youngster used to know this song. I mean, the way it has spread, now that has been replaced by this AtmaNirbhar Bharat. I'm extremely happy that a word like AtmaNirbhar Bharat, suggested by our Honorable Prime Minister, could crisscross the country in limited amount of time. Having the AtmaNirbhar word so familiar and so close at our hearts, I want to just say what we need to do. What we need to do as an individual, especially as youngsters, to make this AtmaNirbhar and also to reinvigorate globally how India can do it. As you all know, on 12th May, Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, while addressing the nation about COVID-19 pandemic, has mentioned that the crisis that emerged due to coronavirus is unprecedented. He said it was unprecedented. He said that we need not only to protect ourselves, but also to keep moving forward and also keep moving forward. हम बचना भी है और आगे बढ़ना भी है. That's what Narendra Modi ji has said. अपना संकल्प इस संकट से भी विराट होगा. That's what he promised all of us. Then 21वीं सदी भारत की हो, ये हमारा सपना ही नहीं है, ये हम साथ सभी की जिम्मेदारी भी है. So he has told us it's our responsibility. Just there is no point in dreaming, but you always feel that it is our responsibility. And also he suggested इसका मार्ग एक ही है, आत्मनिर्भर भारत. So that is how he proposed before all of us what Atmanirbhar Bharat is, what it is going to achieve. Thus, I feel Prime Minister talking about the post-COVID worlds observed that in order to fulfill the dream of making India 21st century as India's, and the way forward is through ensuring that the country becomes self-reliant, that is Atmanirbhar. Prime Minister also mentioned that definition of self-reliance, Atmanirbharta, has undergone a change in the globalized world. And self-reliance is different from self-centered. That also he made it very clear. Self-reliance is different from self-centered. Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji also mentioned that converting adversity into an opportunity is also part of self-reliance. So all youngsters should note, you have to convert this adversity into an opportunity. That is a bigger message he has given. आपदा को अवसर में बदलने की भारत की ये दृष्टि आत्मनिर्भर भारत के हमारे संकल्प के लिए उतना ही प्रभाव सिद्ध होने वाली है. These are the words Prime Minister has used. So youth should find an opportunity in that adversity. So in order to make India invigorate globally, we need to see opportunity. We need to search opportunity in the adversity. The whole nation needs to respond to this call given by the Honorable Prime Minister. This is the responsibility, Jimmedari. He said responsibility, and we need to work in that direction with a lot of responsibility and energy also. Different people are understanding the Atmanirbharta differently. People who has experienced license permit raj, import substitutions, poor quality production are fearing that are we going to walk the same path again? Those with Swadeshi bent of mind are thinking that Atmanirbharata means more of Swadeshi. So different people are having different understanding of this Atmanirbharata. So it is made very clear that both these thought processes are incorrect. That's what the Prime Minister has made it very clear. Atmanirbharata as what you are understanding is different from what I am thinking. The best way to interpret and understand Atmanirbharata, that is self-reliance, is an ability to cater to domestic and export markets. That we need to make it very clear. Not becoming Atmanirbhar in each and every product or service we can produce. So these two concepts have to be very, very clear to people. So we need to cater to the domestic as well as export markets. And also each and every product or service, we are not going to become Atmanirbhar. I mean, we will select the areas in which we can become Atmanirbhar so that we can become a global player. That is what is the meaning of Atmanirbhar. Prime Minister also made it very clear when he said, Bharat ke Sanskriti aur Sanskar उस आत्मनिर्भरता की बात करते हैं जिसकी आत्मा वसुदैव कुटुंबकम है, विश्व एक परिवार, that he clearly mentioned. So the concept of self-reliance is not a selfish thing, it is a global thing, because India has a culture. India feels that we are all one. That is what is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That's what he said, Vishwa Ek Parivar Hai. When India talks about self-reliance, it does not talk about self-centered development, but it talks about world happiness, cooperation, and peace. The Prime Minister clarified that. So why I am dwelling so much time on this is the word self-reliance or Atmanirbhar is to be clear in our minds. Because when there is clarity, the thinking also becomes very, very clear. Because we have a lot of energy. But along with that energy, if you have the clarity, then there won't be any confusion. There will be a construction always. So I am dwelling so much time to make the word Atmanirbhar very, very clear. So now, yeah, and also a lot of ministers also have made it very clear, and Prime Minister also announced reforms towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, which includes rational tax system, simple and clear rules of law, good infrastructure, competent and capable human resources, and strong financial system. So my focus is on competent and capable human resources. That is the thing which we are going to discuss today. Because the rest of the things are going to come in the form of policies, in the form of tax policies. So these are the things which the government is going to do. And now our emphasis is on this competent and capable human resources. I mean, that means we all come under this category, especially the youth who are participating in this particular event today. And also, I don't know, Sailesh has chosen this date. I mean, when I refer, today is World Youth Skills Day. That is also, yes. I don't know whether it's a coincidence or Sailesh has planned it. I don't know. I think he has planned it. Yeah.
To have you on such a fantastic day was an honor for both our foundation.
Yeah, right. Because I mean, it's a World Youth Skills Day. Skill development is a primary means of enabling young people to make a smooth transition to work. Because if you from a school education, if you want to transfer or transit into the mode of work, you need some skills. So this is what skill development provides all of us. Skills and jobs for youth feature prominently in the 2030 agenda of the United Nations. 2030 agenda of United Nations is concentrating on the skills for sustainable development, and it calls for a sustainable increase in the number of youth and adults who have relevant skills. So youth, if you want to make India Atmanirbhar, you need to have the required skills. So skill development is very important. Suppose in December 2014, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution declaring 15 July as the World Youth Skills Day, that is today. The goal is to achieve better socio-economic conditions for today's youth as a means of addressing the challenges of unemployment and underemployment. So World Youth Skills Day 2020, the motto or the theme is skills for a resilient youth. That is what is the theme of 2020 as part of the Skill Development Day or the World Youth Skills Day. So skills for resilient youth. So the youth has to be resilient and they need to have the required skills. Let us come to the India skills. What are the skills we have as per 2020 report? Today, you all should read the article written by our Honorable Vice President, Venkaiah Naidu ji, in Indian Express, and also some of the vernacular newspapers he has written about. If you want to make Atmanirbhar or self-reliant India, you need to have skills. That is what is the theme of the topic. So I think Sailesh, you should send a copy to all people, and most of the things I have taken from his article only. Yeah. Sure. The report says that currently millennials constitute nearly 47%, almost half of the country's working populations. This is likely to remain the largest chunk of Indian workforce for the next 10 years. The youth are the future of any country. We all know. That's what Dr. Kalamji also used to tell us. Youth are the future of any country. But India can take the lead over many other nations because 65% of its population is below 35 years. Abhi, जब भी आप market में भी जाओ, you see only youth. I mean, the sight is different in abroad. If you go to US, Japan, or some other places, if you go to a marketplace, you see elderly people. That's why the way Corona is also spreading is much different. In India, because of the youth also, the spread is not much. And also because we have the immunity also, that's why we are in a position to control it also. And also almost 50% is below 25 years. That also we should know. With a huge educated young population, India is uniquely poised to realize its demographic potential. So we have to make this demography as the demographic dividend. So that depends on how you are going to skill yourself, how you are going to improve your skills. The fact that Indians are heading several multinational companies, MNCs, shows that there is no dearth of knowledge and talent in the country. So if you see Microsoft or if you see Google, I mean, yesterday, Honorable Prime Minister had a meeting with Sundar Pichai, and he promised about the investment about $10 billion in the country for the digital India concept. However, the need of the hour is to upgrade the skills or upskill the youth to meet the employment needs of technology-driven 21st century and to accelerate the pace of AtmaNirbhar Bharat. So the youth need to have the skills, especially the digital skills. Much before the COVID-19 pandemic, fourth industrial revolution triggered a paradigm change with the digital technology as the driving the job market. So that's why the concept of DQ has become very, very important. DQ is digital quotient. We all used to talk about the physical quotient, the PQ, the IQ, intelligent quotient. Then we used to talk about EQ, the emotional quotient. And we used to talk about spiritual quotient, SQ. And now this DQ has become very, very important. Suppose if you don't have digital knowledge, I mean, you can't be in the race. So the youth need to improve their digital quotients. Future is going to be working remotely. We all see people working from home, or it's called remote working also. With increasing adoption of digital technology will be the modus operandi. So we all should know we need to have the digital technology. So youth needs to develop the skills of listening and communications, cross-cultural sensitivity, ability to changing work environments, emotional intelligence, social etiquette, along with a good academic record. So it is not just necessary if you have good academic record, you need to have listening and communication skills. These are very important. And you have cross-cultural sensitivity also, and ability to change the changing work environments. You can't say that now I have to sit in an office and do it. Now the order of the day is you are working from home. So you have to adapt to this environment, and you need to have the emotional intelligence. And finally, the social etiquette also is very, very important. These are the soft skills which we call. If you go to technology wise, you need to have skills in artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, IoT, what we call usually, then data science, then machine learning, cloud computing, are these things the companies are going to look in the youth. So this is the right time, because sitting at home, what we need to do is we need to improve these skills. There are so many universities which are offering you a lot of degrees. I mean, there are many platforms also which are offering you a lot of degrees, like Coursera. Coursera offers you a lot of courses. I also registered myself. In fact, I am doing PhD in rural development. So I am doing that simultaneously with Mumbai University. Along with that, I keep on registering myself for various courses. So always you need to improve your skills. So as a youth, you need to do that. Innovation is going to play a very important role in the days to come. Innovation is very, very important. An idea can bring a change in life. Idea mobile wala aapko batate. Ek idea aapka, it can change your life. So an idea by you can change the life of this nation, and it can make India Atmanirbhar. That also we need to do. So youth should be innovative. And yesterday I read in a newspaper that one young boy by name Vamsi, he stays in Kakinada in Andhra Pradesh. He has developed an alternative to Zoom app. The Zoom which we are using right now, he has invented a new an app called Libero app with additional features of many additional features like many additional features. So you can take notes, you can have a office room situation like that he prepared. So now you see in this pandemic, Zoom made crores of rupees. Crores of rupees. They made crores of rupees by organizing so many Zoom meetings. So now one innovation is going to replace, that is also Indian product. So it is going to make India AtmaNirbhar. That is what is AtmaNirbharata. As a youngster, what I can do, if you think, come out with some innovation that is going to see that the name of India is going to be not only locally, definitely once this app comes, there is going to be a lot of discussion about it. So there is going to be a vocal this thing to us. With these two things, it is going to become a global app, a competition to Zoom. So that is what we are expecting from the youngsters like you. So he received 15 lakhs from Government of India also for the next generation video conferencing to replace Zoom. So my request to all the youth you are participating in this thing is to think innovatively. Keep thinking innovatively. I always say Atmanirbharta is a state of mind. It's a state of mind. A country or an individual can progress on the concept of Atmanirbharta definitely. Today, we are discussing about Atmanirbharta. There is no doubt. I mean, everywhere you see, I said the word Atmanirbharta is spread in the country like anything. Everybody talks. The other day in Rewa, in Madhya Pradesh, Honorable Prime Minister has inaugurated the biggest solar park there, in which he was talking about going for alternative sources of energy. Because the pollution has to, if you want to make India self-reliant, you have to reduce the pollution. So solar energy is the best. He said it is sure, it is pure, and it is secure. So these are the three things about solar energy. So if you want to talk about Atmanirbharata, you have to see that all these concepts are introduced so that you can progress and you can become the best in the world also. I mean, I'll skip one or two things because there is a time limitation you said. Yeah. Yeah. Always youth should remember that if you become Atmanirbhar, then nation will become Atmanirbhar. There is a lot of responsibility on the youngsters. If you want India to be Atmanirbhar, the youth has to be Atmanirbhar. There is going to be an economic slowdown. There is no doubt about it, not only in the country, but also across the globe. Generally, during such time, governments adopt economy measures. When we were in service, they used to say travel in economy class, so spend less. So budget used to be reduced. So that is to reduce wasteful expenditure. This is another way of increasing the productivity. If you reduce your wasteful expenditure, as if you are contributing to the productivity, that is another thing you should know. Youth also should think that what is expenditure you are incurring unnecessarily. You also think what is the expenditure you are making. So why don't you reduce that? And what are the things that those can be avoided? This is one discussion what we need to do. So you assess it, you reduce it, and reduce it with intention. So you need to have a thorough understanding why I'm reducing my unnecessary expenditure. This will reduce your wastage and your life becomes focused. Lot of unnecessary things are shifting our focus from important things to unimportant things. Once you remove all these wasteful things, your life becomes very, very focused. If you go through the NASCOM reports and other reports are mentioning that engineers are unemployable in this country. This is another thing they have said. Only 15% of the engineers who are coming out of the institutions, they are employable. Let us not blame the teachers and the universities for this. We should blame ourselves. We should ask ourselves why this is happening. What skills I am lacking? So youth should demand the universities what they want. Change in the curriculum or to impart skills. So If you want to become AtmaNirbhar, you need to have the skills. That's what we discussed earlier. So there should be a demand from the youth to the universities that you change the curriculum, because otherwise curriculum for the last 20 years, they're teaching the same things. So the lecturers are very happy. They are preparing the same PowerPoint and they have been using it for the last 20 years. So that should not be. It should be a dynamic situation. Who should demand this? The student should demand this, because you have to come out with skills. Once you have skills, you become Atmanirbhar. If you become Atmanirbhar, the country is going to, the nation is going to become Atmanirbhar. That is the thing we need to understand. In this COVID period, how many of us are trying to do new courses? That's what I've been asking you. I've been suggesting, Sailesh. How many of us are trying to learn new skills? How much time we are spending to know about things which we do not know? Then, if the youth can concentrate on this, then they can become Atmanirbhar and Bharat can become Atmanirbhar. That's what I'm telling. Equip yourself. The Honorable Prime Minister is trying to introduce so many new things so that India can become Atmanirbhar. So you also should think how many new things you have to put in yourself, how many new things you have to learn so that you become Atmanirbhar. US, recently, you must have seen in the newspapers, the US President, Mr. Donald Trump, announced about stringent measures about H-1B visas. He said now no new visas will be given. And I mean, these are the things. Visas, because of this, many of the youth felt very depressed that they lost the chances of going abroad. Why not we think of developing our own nation? Jamshedji Tata was not allowed in a hotel run by foreigners. He did not get disappointed. He came back and he constructed a much bigger hotel and he displayed his patriotism. You know Maharaja of Baroda, Mr. Gaikwad, he visited Rolls-Royce showroom because he was not in this king's attire. He was in normal attire, and because they thought he is from India, the people there did not give him much response. You know what he did? He purchased 24 Rolls-Royce vehicles and he has given it to Baroda municipality for garbage collection. Then in the newspaper, it started coming, Rolls-Royce are being used for garbage collection. Then the whole Rolls-Royce team came and touched his feet and asked him, Sir, galti ho gaya, maaf kar lijiye. We did not give you enough attention, because the moment world knows that Rolls-Royce is being used to collect garbage, their brand value is going to go down. So this is the thing. So whenever there is an adverse situation, never get disappointed. You always read the stories of inspirational people and get inspired. So similarly, youth have been denied the opportunities of going abroad because many people think that. And you must develop this vengeance attitude now. Vengeance attitude, like the Jamshedji Tata or the King of Baroda, they developed a vengeance. We'll show what we are. So in the same manner, because the H-1B visas are stopped, we will show what Indian youth, that type of vengeance you should get. You write to the PMs and CM on what as a group you can do. Come, youth, join as a group and tell the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister and Chief Ministers of your respective states that what you can do. I talked about this boy, Vamsi, who has come out with an alternative to Zoom. Okay, you need to become creative. That's what I have been telling. Your intelligence should not get disturbed. It should get expanded. Your mind as vision should become wide. Automatically new things will come and new innovations will come. Then only Atmanirbharata will come. Don't think that due to COVID, America is blocked, Canada is blocked, England is going to be blocked. Don't think like that. But remember, our nation is there. India is there. Bharat is there. What was America in 1960? Just go back to the history and see, read, think how it has become so rich and developed. People are going abroad. I'm not raising any objection to that. Our mission should be to bring them back. Our mission should be let our people in America come back. For that, we need to provide the better situation in the nation. That's what Honorable Prime Minister is talking about, the AtmaNirbhar Bharat. I'll create such an atmosphere in the nation so that people, youngsters need not have to go from here, but youngsters of US should come here. That's what Dr. Abdul Kalam ji used to tell us. I generally go out and I see youngsters wearing t-shirts. On those t-shirts, I see New York. On these t-shirts, I see Los Angeles. On these t-shirts, I see London. I want such Bharat. I want such a AtmaNirbhar Bharat, wherein the youth of US, the youth of England wear t-shirts with Bharat written on it. You should make youth of US and youth of England wear t-shirts with Bharat written on it. That is AtmaNirbhar Bharat. Who can do it? Youth can do it. You have such a potential. You have such an innovative capacity in your this thing. So only thing is you need to recognize that and you need to put it into practice. So you need to develop your own USP. Suppose say you have a restaurant, a small restaurant you are running, and there is a big restaurant opposite to you, which is having beautiful furniture, which is having good elevation or your other these things, but you have a small restaurant. You need not have to worry about it. You need to have your own USP. Suppose if you start giving good dishes, very tasty dishes, definitely the people are going to come from that bigger restaurant to your restaurant. There is no doubt about it. So just because the restaurant is big, it doesn't mean that with a small your restaurant you can do wonders. Only thing is you need to have that vengeance. You need to have that commitment. I'll show something so that the people from the bigger restaurant will come to us. That is how you. This is Atmanirbharta. This is what is your self-reliance. So this is local thinking, but they will make it local. The moment the people from the bigger restaurant come to your and start tasting your dishes, they are going to make it local. Once this local combines with local, then it is definitely going to become global. So you have all the potential to make the local things into the global things. Don't forget, you have all the potential. Youngsters, you have every potential. Let us make that these 2 years are very, very important for us. Let us slog. Let us put our 100%. 100% हम डालेंगे. 100% will put efforts to make India Atmanirbhar. Though it happening in front of us, we are not visualizing. Those who are visualizing are reaping the benefits. It is what is happening. We were very, very happy and we were very, very elated once we came to know about the news of Yoga Day. When Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji became the Prime Minister, he pushed this idea in the United Nations and United Nations readily accepted. And 21st June, we all started celebrating it as Yoga Day, 21st of June. So, but somebody was observing this. Somebody was observing this. So he came to know that people in huge numbers are going to assemble and practice or display yogasanas. He visualized that there will be a requirement of yoga mats. Overnight, they set up 3 huge yoga mat factories and produced mat in huge numbers and became billionaires, and they became Atmanirbhar. We were doing yoga and we were spreading yoga, and they were manufacturing yoga mats and they became Atmanirbhar. So you have to visualize each and everything. Then only you can become Atmanirbhar. Similarly, you say the Ganesha idols are being made elsewhere and they're being sold to us. Frogs are being sold, frog idols. They are saying that if you put coin in the frog's mouth, a lot of money will come to your house. Then they are selling bamboo sticks to us in the name of Feng Shui. And we are all purchasing it and they are making business in crores of rupees. So our sentiments are being studied, observed, and that is being converted into business. And in the process, our sentiments are becoming the inputs for their Atmanirbharta. So youth need to study this. What are the sentiments of the people of the other countries and whether we can do this? Like what others are doing, why not we do it? So decide, because we are all going to live in this great nation. We have to be very happy that we have taken birth in this great nation. Now we have to make this nation great. In 1857, the youth of this country fought against the East India Company. They failed. For next 2 years, there was a huge massacre. People were killed in huge numbers. If you read the history, you will come to know. But within 20-25 years, again youth have congregated, like Balagangadhar Tilak, Madanlal Dhingra. They again fought. And within 90 years of time, they got independence to the country. So always there will be some failures, but you should not be discouraged because youth have such power. Youth have such power. So you need to realize that. Apart from this, I mean, we did not get independence only to our country. Along with our country, almost 95 countries got independence. The colonization was totally wiped out. So many countries were liberated. That is the impact of the youth of this nation on the entire scenario. The local impact has become a global impact. So that is the strength what youth have. They did not stop with that. Youth like Dr. Swaminathan, Dr. Varghese Kurian strive to remove famines and poverty. You should read about Dr. Ella Pragada Subbarao, a famous scientist who invented 23 medicines. The folic acid, the other B12, all these things have been invented by a Dr. Youth from India. Dr. Varaprasad Reddy, you should know about this gentleman also, the Padma Bhushan. He made available the vaccines at very affordable prices through Shanta Biotics. I keep meeting him and I derive a lot of inspiration. Why I'm telling the youth all these things is find out there are so many people in the society. We have done a lot of things for the nation. Go and meet them. Listen to their stories, how they got motivated, derive motivation from them, become AtmaNirbhar. Okay. Take inspiration from them, start working to make India AtmaNirbhar. Total paradigm shift is needed. Yeah. AtmaNirbharta is the status of a mindset, as you said. If your mindset is right, then India's mindset is going to be right. When your hearts are confident, then India's heart will be confident. When you are rich in thinking, India's thinking will be rich. So India's thinking will be rich. When you are rich, India becomes rich. Keep thinking how to bring change through innovations. The biggest laboratory is your mind. Don't think that we don't lab. The biggest lab is here. So start innovating. A person who has a creative thinking will always think about serving the society to make it Atmanirbhar. A farmer by name Chintala Venkat Reddy is a good friend of mine. Actually, through a very simple technique of spraying this mud spray, very inexpensive technique to deal with this locust problem. He could overcome that. Government is going to implement these schemes. Don't bother. We have a very good leadership and we have a man with a vision sitting at the helm of the affairs. So definitely government is going to implement these schemes. The youth needs to think differently. And they should be innovative to make India Atmanirbhar. Read the story of Udab Bharali. Udab Bharali is the person who got 108 inventions. He is from Assam. He got Padma Shri. You got my good friend Chintakindi Mallesham. He is a weaver. There is a sari called Pochampalli sari in Telangana, state of Andhra Pradesh. It takes almost about 2 days to make one sari. His parents used to, slog. He saw their suffering. He is a 6th class dropout. By almost slogging for 5 years, he invented a machine called a Lakshmi Asu machine in the name of his mother. Now, within 8 hours, you can make one sari with less efforts. He got Padma Shri. Chintakindi Malay. These are the people who inspires you a lot. So this is the youth power. So in the process, he made his entire locality Atmanirbhar. So one idea of Mallesham has made. I have another boy who is a 7th dropout by name Pawan. Now he has almost 30 patents in his name. He is a 7th dropout. Now he is an honorary doctorate of Berkeley University. See, these are the people we have in the society. So my request to all the youngsters who are attending this is get inspiration from these people. You have a lot of potential and you make it. AtmaNirbharta is not the financial package, I say, the government has given. It is the internal activity of every youth and individual. I conclude by saying that Field Marshal Manekshaw, he said, leadership is very, very important. Every youth should become a leader. He said, give me a man with reasonable common sense and decency, I'll make a leader out of him. That's what he says. So our aim, maybe Vivekananda Foundation and also Youth of India Foundation, you have to make leaders. You have to bring out leaders who are hidden in these youngsters. I went to a exhibition of sculptures. Beautiful sculptures were there. I asked the person, the sculptor, I asked him, how could you make such beautiful idols? He said, sir, in this stone, already such beautiful idol was there. What I removed is, I removed the wastage. I removed the unimportant part from the stone. I could get this beautiful idol. So that is how youth need to do. Let us shed all these unnecessary things and let us bring out an innovative person in you that you can become Atmanirbhar. In the process, you can make India Atmanirbhar. So that is how I propose this thing. And because Vivekananda Foundation is also involved, you should read the complete works of Swami Vivekananda. If you read his 5th volume, in the conversation with his disciple Sharat Chandra Chakravarti in the year 1898, Vivekananda also talks about self-reliance. He also talks about Atmanirbharta. He also talks about Atmanirbharta. That's a good reading. Every youth should read this. And he mentions about the intelligence part of it. He says, yeah, take Indian cloth, take Indian towels, take bamboo work and other indigenous products and peddle the streets of Europe and America. You will find how greatly Indian products are appreciated. In 1898, he talked about this. Tear off the folds from your eyes and you will see the whole world lighted by the rays of the midday sun. That's what Swami Vivekananda says. Now you have to remove the folds from your eyes. You have to see a better country and you have to see a better nation. You have to see better of yourself to make this nation great. So I wish all the youth a very great future. And also, I always feel that let there be a paradigm shift in your thinking. Think innovatively and become Atmanirbhar and make Bharat Atmanirbhar. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Bharat Mata ki Jai.
I think there could be nothing better that we could really expect, especially on the occasion of World Youth Skills Day. The very fact that you, sir, you have mentioned not only about the way the paradigm shift should happen, and you showed us the way how Atmanirbhar Bharat is about the mindset, the paradigm shift that we need to have rather than the financial package that you talked about. And I think it is very apt to have been talked about today. One thing, it gives me a sense of honor and a blessing that I come from a state of West Bengal, from where Swami Vivekananda had taken his physical birth and had then spread the message across the globe. And then today mentioning about and recalling his principles back again gives us a sense of strength and possibility that there are things that we need to do ahead again. And making self-reliant India is definitely the foundations of everything that we do. There's so much takeaways that I have today to take from you, especially from this remarkable speech, or rather, I would say, inspirational talk that you had shared with us today, especially about how our India is becoming self-reliant once again with the helm of the leadership at the center. And one thing which I really reconnected with you, and I think a lot of young people today would reconnect, is that we should take this adversities not as adversities, but rather as opportunities to prove our worth. And I think this is very important to see that challenges are not challenges, rather they are opportunities to prove our worth. And the very foundation of our organization as well, sir, started with a no. wherein we took no as a new opportunity, and that has made where we are today. So, you know, and crafting of leadership is what we strongly believe in, and I think this is very important. And the imports that you talked about, I think it is very important to understand and to realize that it is not that we want to do everything and out of blue that we go on hitting on everything. No, but rather to focus on few of the things which we need to really focus on, maybe, and then reduce the imports on those sections and then become self-reliant. And that focused vision that you have enlightened us today with is really what we were looking forward to. And I didn't realize that you're still continuing your education and you keep on going on. So today itself, while we were listening to the Prime Minister's message on the World Youth Skills Day, he said that youth is about regular upgradation of your skills, and if you don't update yourself, you die. Your mental status dies. So I think it is very important that we take away that we can become skilled in one aspect, but then it is a continuous journey of skilling oneself. That is very important that we take away from you today. So thank you so much, sir, for your inspirational discussion altogether. If you mind, if you could take maybe one or two questions from the live session.
Sure, Sailesh.
Yeah. So, sir, there's been when you talked about that we need young people to come up and change the kind of educational system that had been talked about. There has been an understanding in the live session that do you take a course as a social activism or into a political activism, or is it that they go through a normal understanding of writing down letters, maybe through dialogues, or is it more through activism or through political leadership? What's your view on that, sir?
Yeah, actually, I mean, initially everything starts with a dialogue. And especially this type of asking for a change in the curriculum and asking for a change in the skills, you need not have to do a big demonstration or anything. Because always the national education policy has been discussed. Kasturi Ranganji has headed that education policy. And also we have now Niti Aayog is there. So what we need to do is we need to sit and discuss what skills are required and how these skills can be imparted. That is how we need to have a clear idea. So with that, if you can suggest what best we can do, definitely the course is going to change, because we are in a dynamic world. Right. Things are changing on a day-to-day basis. I mean, you can't remain static and you can't face a dynamic world. So if you want to have a dynamic thing, you also need to run. If you remain static, the things will be running from you and they finally say you don't have the required skills. So in the process, you also run and you also become dynamic. What you want, you should know. That's what today's article by Honorable Vice President also has mentioned about various skills which are required. And also the DQ, what I was talking about, the digital quotient is one thing which is very much essential, because the whole world is moving towards the digitization and the digital things. So this is, you need not have to go up to the political agitation type of it. It is only the intellectual inputs which we need to give so that the skills can be included in the curriculum also. In fact, what I suggested some of the engineering colleges here is, the engineering colleges should take up the project works which are relevant for the people around them. An engineering college or a professional college should become a nerve center of activity. Suppose if a farmer gets a problem, you should think about an engineering college. If I go there, I get a solution. So you have your project. Today, yesterday's paper, if you have read, Punjab is slowly moving to direct harvesting of this paddy. What we used to do is we used to do this transplant. We used to have in a field, then from there you get the labor and transplant it in a bigger field. But from last year onwards, Punjab has started directly putting the seeds. So that is going to save about 10 to 15 days of their harvesting time also. And engineering colleges, professional colleges and other colleges should become the nerve centers. Let them come out with some innovations. Innovations are very, very important. So that is how we can change. It's a simple change. It's a simple change. It's not a very complicated thing. It's only the change of the mindset. It's only the change of the mindset. Yeah.
So I think this is aptly said, that the change of mindset is what, and with innovation is very important. It reminds me of a movie, Three Idiots, wherein
Yeah.
and the example of a zip was given and how he saw that as an innovation as well. And I
Yes.
think innovation, as you said, is about making lives easier and more sustainable for
Yeah.
others as well. So, a while back in the 2019 United Nations General Assembly, I had the opportunity to
Yeah. Yeah. I
participate.
heard.
And there I realized that, so there when we met His Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of United Nations, I gifted him the kullad, or the mud glass to
Yeah.
say, which is present across India.
Yes.
And he was quite taken aback, and he remarked that it is a glass of the century, which was then covered by a lot of national and the international media. I think what you again said, recalling or bringing that in every district has some nature-based solution or some
Yes.
sustainable solution.
Yes.
But sir, there is one challenge which we see, or which might come up, is how do we take it global? Though there are a lot of local products, we can become vocal, but how can we become global about it? Or how can we make sure that our markets are reached out? Do
Yeah.
we use digital platforms, or should there be any other platforms, or should there be any other government mechanism that should come in between that?
Yes. Because you mentioned about Three Idiots also. In that also, there is a lot of message it carries. Because
Right.
especially I like the last scene of this thing. He says, "Kabil bano, kamyabi jag maar ke tumhara piche padegi." So always try to become excellent. Then success is bound to follow you. So that is what is another lesson what youth should learn. Then talking about the various things, the local products, because you mentioned about Swami Vivekananda, he was a local. Then his discourses and all became very vocal. Then he became global. He became global. Now, even after so many years, still we remember him because of this thing. Similarly, there is another saying, you should not make the noise. Your performance should make the noise. Your performance should make the noise. I mean, once you produce the best of the products, I mean, there is a lot of demand that is going to be there. That's what Swami Vivekananda told Mr. Chakrabarti also. There is a lot of demand for our products because the skills what we have, the traditional skills what we have in the villages, I mean, they are phenomenal. No other country has this. I mean, you must have heard about the finesse with which our weavers used to weave the sarees. A 16 feet this thing used to be put in a matchbox. That is what is our these things. And there is one particular khadi. If you wear it in the summer, it gives very coolness, and if you wear it in the winter, it gives you warmness. So there are so much of things that is only available in India, because with this so much of civilization and so much of culture with us, we have so many things. So in the name of skill development, what I suggested to the government is these arts should continue. Otherwise, what is happening is they are just remaining with this generation. The next generation is not picking them up. In the name of education, they say that this is not done. In the name of education, youngsters are not ready to do agriculture. So this mindset has to change. That is what, again, I am telling you, the mindset. So, I mean, our India's culture is agriculture. So we need to get into the agriculture business. So make agriculture as a business. Don't just think it as an agriculture business, because we have become AtmaNirbhar in agriculture. We have become AtmaNirbhar in agriculture. Now we have to see for business in agriculture. So the rice which we are cultivating, you should cultivate such a species so that it can get into export mode. So basmati rice is one thing we are exporting a lot. Let us not export the raw rice, but export basmati type of rice. So we have very good artisans, and we have another, of course, everything now has become digital. As I said, now Amazon, you can get anything. Flipkart, you can get anything. So all these products, we can put it on them also, on those platforms also, so that it becomes very, very easier for the marketing. So there is a lot of demand. There are a lot of skills. Only thing is we have to see that these skills get transferred to the next generation so that this Indianness is not lost. It continues. That is a unique USP what we have in the world. that you should be able to maintain, so that the local things can become global through the vocal advertisement by all of us. Yeah.
Absolutely rightly remarked. So thank you so much for your thoughts on that, and not taking much time of yours.
Yeah.
Just with the last question that we would really,
Yeah.
because seeing a lot of books behind you, and it's and on the very occasion that today is the World Youth Skills Day.
Yeah.
So, which three books should you refer to the young people today? Which, uh, sir?
Yeah, I always
Am I-
read epics. Epics are
Very
the
good.
things. Mahabharata is one thing which teaches you everything. Somebody said, there is nothing that is not there in Mahabharata. Whatever is there in Mahabharata, you don't find it anywhere else. So Mahabharata, especially the Bhagavad Gita, it's not a religious text. It is a personality development book. So if you read this thing, you read so many books for personality development. You buy only this 10 rupee book, that is sufficient. It makes your personality very, very good. The other books what I generally read is about the youth have to be in touch with what is happening in the world. So they should know the political this thing, and also they should know what is happening around, like what is happening between India and China, what is happening between India and Nepal. All these things you have to be in touch with contemporary issues, and also you should be able to. I mean, I always read the biographies and autobiographies of people. They give you a lot of inspiration. So I always suggest students, so you read the biographies and autobiographies. I always tell the youth, you need to give 4 trainings. First is train your body. That means devote at least 35 to 45 minutes of every day to train your body. Then you train your mind. Mind is very, very important. It keeps going here and there. You should be able to control it. If you want to control your mind, yoga and pranayama, they are the best things. The third thing is you need to train your word, the way you speak. That is communication. So you need to make efforts to see that you speak well. So for that, you need to read books. It's like a water tank. If you have water in the water tank, then water comes from the tap. If you don't have water in the water tank, you don't get water. Similarly, if you have water here, then flow will come from here. So train your word, how you speak, how you present the things. I mean, you see the Man Ki Baat or other speeches of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. I think he is the best orator what we have globally. I mean, the best thing, how to communicate, you can learn from him. And final thing is have positive thinking. So training, always think positive. That's why the Prime Minister said, you have to find an opportunity in adversity. So people with positive mind will always find opportunity in an adversity. To get a positive mindset, you need to read the biographies and autobiographies of great people. So follow these things, then definitely you will be ready to become AtmaNirbhar. Yeah.
So with this message, I think there is no more concluding remark that is required.
Yeah.
I think to become Atmanirbhar, the 4 aspects that you have mentioned are the only foundations that could really take us ahead. And very rightly, you have helped us revive how important it is to go back into our yogas and pranayamas.
Yes.
Pranayam.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how important it is to meditate, and then again to have a positive attitude towards everything that we do. So
Yes.
on behalf of Vivekananda Global Foundation and Youth of India Foundation, we really thank you for taking this time out with us today and sharing such an insightful plethora of experiences that you have, and help us realize that it is not about the financial package that we have to look at the Atmanirbhar, but the paradigm shift that we need to bring and reviving the innovation that is there within us, which can create a butterfly effect. So thank you so much, sir, once again for being with us here today. And thank you so much for all the viewers that have joined us today. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much. Jai.
Jai.